Man United have now won 4 straight Premier League matches in a row. Are they going to win 5? Is it time for that lad to book that haircut appointment? I first want to start off with this match because there was a lot of hype coming in with Man United. They had won 3 matches in a row heading into here, and they certainly were expecting to beat a Tottenham side that has been struggling under Thomas Frank, but this match didn't quite play out how we thought because Tottenham get an early red card, and that just changes the game because Man United take advantage off of that set piece, and Bomo scores that goal. It's Kobe Mainoo getting that assist. And in the second half, sure, Man United didn't quite put this game to bed, but who else but Bruno Fernandes to get that goal? And then it's finally 2-0. And then what can you really take away from here other than Man United continue to look good on the Michael Carrick? The way they're playing the style, it's entertaining, it's direct, it's quick, it's get the ball forward. They're defending like a team in zones. They're all moving together. But you're playing against 10 men. You're playing against a Tottenham team that has been very bad, almost as bad as it was under last season with Ainge Postecoglou. So there's not really a lot of takeaway. You're playing at home. You're playing 1 game a week. But if you're a Man United fan, you got to take the win. Amrin couldn't even win 4 matches in a row. So this is a step in the right direction. And Man United are now sitting 4th. They're still sitting 4th in the Premier League table. And so far, they look like the team to beat. And Bruno Fernandes does get that goal. And he is now the most informed player in the Premier League. He's got 12 goals and assists over his last 9 matches. Haaland has completely cooled off. So is there any player right now that's more informed than Bruno Fernandes? But I thought it was interesting when Casemiro went down, it looked like he could have been hurt. And like part of the issue with Man United is there's not a lot of depth on this team. So if Casemiro or any player like Kobe Mainoo or Bruno Fernandes gets injured, there's still the issues with ownership and how they quite haven't backed this team enough. There's definitely a lot of talent here with Mbomo, Cunha, but there's just not quite the same depth that Arsenal have. So I do have to say that although this Man United team has looked good and has won a lot of matches, I still have some concerns about how this continues to play throughout the whole season. If other players get injured, what happens there? But if you're Man United, you got to take the progress, right? Because this is the highest point tally that they've already surpassed the point tally they did from last season under Amrin. So this is already a huge step forward. And Man United have 44 points this season. Last season they only had 42, which is crazy to think a Man United team dropping this low. But it's still, if we're looking at the Premier League table and we're seeing that Arsenal are in first, they're probably going to win Premier League. You got City in second, you got Villa, and then like where does Man United, where do they finish in the Premier League this season? Because they're only playing 1 game a week, but you still got Chelsea and you got Liverpool competing for the top 4. So is Man United going to finish and make in the top 4 and make the Champions League? So far, it looks like they are arguably favorites to do that with just having the shorter fixture list. But one of the most surprising things is that although United have won 4 matches in a row and they do look like they're back on track, it's still surprising to look at a club like United and also Chelsea and sort of just like be celebrating, being in the top 4, but not being in the mix to win the Premier League. And it's crazy how far the standards for both clubs have gone down that now neither of those teams are probably going to win the Premier League this year, but these are big clubs that should be pushing to win the Premier League. And then so far they're teams that are trying to get back into that. But I did want to transition into some of the comments here. And it says, at this point, if United win 5 in a row, they should invite that bloke out to Old Trafford and give him a haircut in front of a sold-out crowd. And look, I think a lot of people would definitely enjoy seeing that boy finally get that haircut, trim that bush down, and then that's it. Put that streak to bed. But looking at the next comment, if Manchester United beat West Ham, we'll never have to hear about the United strand ever again. He might not be the only one who wants the club to lose more than Amram FC fans and Mark Goldbridge. There is definitely still the Amram stands that are still going to say, look, Amram was not the problem. That it's the ownership. And look, it's hard to argue right now that United are better off without Amram. They're just playing a lot better. The streak of winning is already higher than it was under Amram. So I can't quite say that the Amram fans are winning right now, but Mark Goldbridge, Look, I mean, I'm sure he's happy Man United are winning matches, but if we look at the another comment here, it's really funny how a lot of this United renaissance is down to Carrick just telling Bruno he can do third man runs again, which is something we could have done at any time in the last 5 years, and we just chose not to. We know that Bruno Fernandes is one of the most creative players in the Premier League, and it just turns out that all you needed was a manager that could just get the best out of Bruno Fernandes and just say, you know what, I'm not going to have you play in the back. We're going to be pushing you higher up the goal where you could take advantage of the good passes, the creativity, and just having an eye for a goal. And of course, that's what you're seeing. You're seeing Bruno Fernandes play good. Even Kobe Mainu, who was banished from the team, and then now he's back. He's starting these matches. He hadn't started a match with Ruben Amorim. And then you see how much of a difference he makes on this team. He could just make those passes in those tight spaces. And then Man United are just able to get that ball forward, and they just look so much more of a threat with the ball, especially in the counterattack. It's completely night and day comparing the Amorim Man United to the Carrick United, which has brought in the excitement, the United DNA. But it's crazy to think that the most important match of the season is going to be against West Ham, all because of a haircut that everybody has been waiting for, a moment. And and instead of just talking about Man United possibly winning 5 games in a row, it's really about Man United winning so that lad could finally get that haircut that he's been letting grow for so many days. I think it's been over 400 days. And this is where we are, where we're talking about haircuts instead of talking about football. But what did you guys think of this match? Were you guys impressed with Man United, Michael Carrick? Is Man United finally going to win 5 matches in a row? Are we going to see that boy get that haircut? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe.